because like frame is kind of like a strong word for me
Okay.
to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I just hope they hope them to remember me as they want to do. Yeah.
Okay,
That
okay.
will be fine.
Okay, so leaving it to the listeners and the audience. All right, I see. Well, I'm sure you have plans for the future, not just for the remainder of this year, but going forward. Are there any plans or things that you're preparing that you haven't or you couldn't share throughout our talk today?
I should say something, right? Oh my
If there's
God.
anything you want to promote or any
Oh.
plans you have. Yeah.
In the 6th of December,
Ah, okay.
I have my solo concert.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that if you're listening to it and if you're in Korea, then maybe give it a shot. I don't know.
Okay, so you just heard that December 6th is Luca Minor's solo concert, and you'll be joined by your full band, of course, right? And you said earlier that solo concerts are a lot more burdensome, and it gives you a little more pressure, but in a positive way,
Yeah.
I should say.
This time it will be just fun.
It'll be just fun.
I
Okay.
manifest it that way.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's good. I can feel that fun vibe. And you'll have your second album songs as part of the set list as well, right?
Yeah, almost, yes.
Okay, okay. So what can the audience look forward to for your upcoming solo concert that will wrap up the year?
The warm vibe.
Warm vibe.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, end of the year, when it comes to, when it's the end of the year, you get sentimental, emotional.
Yeah, for sure.
We can share the feeling together. Yeah.
That's very sweet. All right. Well, thank you so much, Luca Minor,
Thank
for
you.
joining us. And I hope many of our listeners would go see him on December 6th for his solo concert. All right. So we'll wrap up the show right there. This has been your DJ Chihi. And here's our last song, Romantissimo by Luca Minor. I'll see you again tomorrow. Keep crunching. Bye-bye.
Love is like a cloud above. It gives me a little shade, but rains on me someday. Whenever I think of love, I've got no clue. Thought I've seen the consequence before, so I was reluctant to explore. But now I'm gonna dive since you came into my life. Whenever I'm close to you, I see the silver lining above. You've stolen my heart from the start. You're like a true piece of art. The eyes and the lips and the words that you put, they let me fall in love again. They say I'm so hopelessly romantic. I know, but I'd rather be lunatic. Since you were here to stay, and my life became so gay. Whenever I'm close to you, it feels like I know what love is. Oh, you've stolen my heart from the start. You're like a true piece of art. The eyes and the lips and the words that you put, they let me fall in love again. They say that I'm hopelessly romantic. I know, but I'd rather be lunatic. 'Cause you were here to stay, and my life became so gay. Whenever I'm close to you, I feel like I'm in love.
이 논슬립 양말의 제일 큰 특징이 땀 흡수가 잘 되고 안 미끄러진다는 거니까 우리가 지금 물을 준비했단 말이에요. 타쿠마가 덜 밀리면 이게 재미가 없으니까 빠르게 와서 쫙 서봐요. 우와! 안 가지? 너무 안 가. 안 가. 진짜 안 가. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the critical moment that decides the match. Do socks really make a difference in performance? One wrong move here and it's game over. And just as I say that, he breaks through. And what a header! Oh, look at his footwork, no slipping at all. Thanks to the double layer non-slip socks, he locks the feet perfectly to the ground. The grip of the polyurethane pads is incredible. It reduces muscle strain while maintaining full rebound power. These aren't just socks. This is performance engineered tech. Introducing WeFoot non-slip technology.
President Lee Jae-myung is set to hold a summit with U.S. President Donald Trump today here in South Korea. Their talks are expected to focus on trade issues, including details on Korea's $350 billion investment pledge to the United States, aimed at lowering tariffs. And just hours before Trump's arrival in South Korea, North Korea announced this morning that it test-fired strategic cruise missiles on Tuesday. So far, the regime hasn't issued any public response to Trump saying he wants to meet Kim Jong-un during his Asia tour. Israel launched airstrikes on Gaza after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered the military to immediately carry out what he called powerful attacks. It's been less than 3 weeks since the ceasefire took effect, but Israel and Hamas are accusing each other of violating the truce.
We begin today in Gyeongju, where President Lee Jae-myung kicked off his APEC 2025 Korea engagements. Our presidential office correspondent Song Yoo-jin joins us live from the APEC 2025 International Media Center with the latest. Yoo-jin, tell us more.
Right. Good afternoon, Inji. President Lee Jae-myung just wrapped up his global investment partnership meeting with the heads of 7 global businesses, including Amazon Web Services and Renault, at the Gyeongju Arts Center this morning. There, the businesses, their leaders, pledged a combined $9 billion in new investment in South Korea over the next 5 years, describing the country as a hub for their global business strategy. Now, according to the presidential office, the investment will focus on high-tech sectors such as AI, semiconductors, cars, and batteries. Now, more specifically, Amazon Services alone announced a $5 billion project to build a new AI data centers in Incheon City and across Gyeonggi-do Province by 2031. And earlier this morning, President Lee Jae-myung delivered a special address at the opening ceremony of the APEC CEO Summit Korea 2025. His 15-minute address highlighted the CEO Summit's role as a bridge between governments and businesses and called for stronger regional cooperation across the Asia-Pacific.
보호무역주의와 자국 우선주의가 고개를 들며 당장의 생존이 시급한 시대에 협력과 상생, 포용적 성장이라는 말이 공허하게 들릴지도 모르겠습니다. 그렇지만 이러한 위기 상황일수록 역설적으로 연대의 플랫폼인 APEC의 역할이 더욱 빛을 발할 것입니다.
He also pledged that South Korea will play a proactive role in supply chain cooperation and AI transformation.
Right, and Yoo-jin, and U.S. President Donald Trump just arrived in South Korea with his Air Force One, landed at Kimhae Airport in Busan. So the highlight of today will be the ROK U.S. Summit, right? What can you tell us?
Right. So the second E-Trump summit will take place this afternoon at the Gyeongju National Museum. As you just mentioned, Eunji, before we came on air, we saw President Trump arriving at Kimhae International Airport, stepping down Air Force One, being greeted by South Korea's Foreign Minister Cho Hyun. With this, President Trump begins his 2-day state visit to South Korea. Now, we've also heard from the presidential office that the South Korean government plans to award Trump with the Grand Order of Mugunghwa, which is the country's highest order. It's a decoration reserved exclusively for heads of state who have significantly contributed to South Korea's security. Now, with this, Trump will be the very first American leader to receive the award. He'll also be presented with a replica of a royal golden crown, a symbol of the ancient Silla kingdom, whose capital was Gyeongju. Now, the actual summit is drawing great attention as well, as Seoul and Washington have a number of issues to discuss, from trade to security and diplomacy. First off, there is the long-delayed trade deal that would reduce U.S. tariffs on South Korean imports. The deal hinges on South Korea's $350 billion investment pledge to the U.S., but the two sides remain divided over how the funds should be managed. And the allies are also working on a new security deal, which could include South Korea boosting its defense spending and revising the bilateral nuclear cooperation agreement to expand Seoul's ability to reprocess spent fuel and enrich uranium for civilian energy use. And of course, there's North Korea with a speculation that Trump could have a surprise meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, just like he did in 2019. So overall, it's shaping up to be a high-stakes day of diplomacy, Eunji. Back to you.
I will have to see how that goes. All right, Eugene, do keep us updated. And over in North Korea, the regime announced to test fire ship-to-ground cruise missiles from the West Sea. The launch comes as Pyongyang remains silent on Trump's proposal for a possible meeting at the demilitarized zone. Our Pyongyang tells us more.
North Korea said it test-fired strategic cruise missiles from the West Sea on Tuesday, a day before U.S. President Donald Trump's visit to South Korea to meet with President Lee Jae-myung in Gyeongju. According to the North state-run Korean Central News Agency on Tuesday, the missiles were launched vertically from a warship and flew for more than 2 hours before striking their intended target. Kim Jong-un was not present at the launch, and North Korean state media, including the Rodong-sinmun, did not report on the test, a move that observers say may indicate Pyongyang sought to limit the level of provocation. Park Jong-cheon, vice chairman of the ruling party's Central Military Commission who oversaw the launch, said the test was part of efforts to continuously expand the operational space of North Korea's war deterrence means and to enhance the reliability of strategic attack systems. The missile launch came as Trump continues to express willingness to meet the North Korean leader at the demilitarized zone during his stay in South Korea. However, North Korea has yet to respond to Trump's proposal. This shows a contrast to 2019, when the then Vice Foreign Minister Choi Sun-hee replied just hours after Trump's surprise tweet proposing a DMZ meeting that led to their brief encounter at Panmunjom. Analysts say Kim's silence may reflect caution amid Washington's continued push for denuclearization, despite Trump hinting at possible sanctions relief. Pyongyang also appears to be bolstering ties with China and Russia to gain leverage before any talks with the U.S. Pyongyang, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, the host city of APEC, Gyeongju, is ready to welcome APEC leaders under highest security alert, the so-called Kapo emergency. Our Yoonjin has the details.
Starting Tuesday, security has been raised to the highest level in Gyeongju, the host city of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. Ahead of the arrival of key world leaders for the meeting, riot police, armored vehicles, and anti-drone systems have been deployed. In and around the Pomun Tourist Complex, where the summit will be held and many leaders will be staying, police have activated the top Kapo alert, the highest police emergency level. Streets and sidewalks in the Pomun area have been blocked off with rows of barriers and checkpoints. Helicopters and the Army's armored vehicles are also on standby around leaders' lodgings and the Gyeongju Hwabaek International Convention Center, which is the summit's main venue, where a full security checkpoint, tightly controlled and similar to those at airports, has also been installed at the entrance. At the Gyeongju Arts Center, where the CEO Summit event will be held, detection dogs have been deployed to check for any signs of explosive or dangerous goods. The airspace around the venue has been designated as a no-fly zone, with anti-drone and drone interception systems in place to guard against potential aerial threats. Police patrol cars will frequently travel around the summit venue areas, as they also escort diplomatic vehicles through various security road closures. Police are on high alert, as the National Police Agency said it has received 17 advance notifications of planned political rallies around the APEC site this week. During the week of the APEC summit, up to 19,000 personnel will be mobilized each day to ensure security across Gyeongju. Iunjin, Arirang News.
And once the capital of the Silla Kingdom, Gyeongju is reviving its 1,000-year-old spirit ahead of APEC 2025 Korea. An exhibition there brings Silla's golden age to life, where art, faith, and global exchange once thrived. Our Park Hyubin has more. The host city of APEC 2025 Korea, Gyeongju was once the capital of the ancient Silla Kingdom that shaped Korea's golden age of art and culture. Now an exhibition titled Scent of Korea in Silla is underway at the Gyeongju Expo Seoul Art Museum, bringing the spirit of Silla back to life.
Based on Silla's culture and history, this exhibition aims to share Korea's heritage with the world and shed new light on its historical value.
Upon entry, visitors are greeted by a 5-meter scroll of silver principal Buddha from Seokguram Grotto, flanked by Tabotap and Seokgatap, Korea's most iconic stone pagodas.
Each piece is painted with real gold and silver, capturing the spiritual glow of the Silla era. In front, a black pond reflects both the artworks and the viewer, linking past, present, and future. Another section connects tradition with modernity through glass art. Some 250 recycled glass bottles symbolize both stability and Silla's long history of cultural exchange along the Silk Road.
I wanted to revive the shapes of Roman glass that once entered Silla through the Silk Road, using today's glass-making techniques.
The highlight of the exhibition is the masterpiece by artist Park Dae-sung, the largest work of his 80-year career.
Behind me is Korea Fantasy, a 12-meter-long painting that brings together Korea's most iconic symbols.
Looking closely, it's filled with the essence of Korean heritage, from Hawaii masks to the smile of Silla, all set against a panoramic Korean landscape. Through these works, the exhibition reimagines Silla's flourishing era of culture, trade, and Buddhism, a reflection of how its legacy continues to breathe through the art of modern Korea. Park Hyo-bin, Arirang News, Gyeongju.
Over in the Middle East, despite a U.S. brokered ceasefire, Israel carried out a series of airstrikes in Gaza after it accused Hamas of violating the truce and attacking Israeli troops. Our Lee Seung-jae has more.
Tensions in Gaza flared again on Tuesday, despite an ongoing U.S. brokered ceasefire. Gaza's Civil Defense Agency said Israel carried out a series of airstrikes after accusing Hamas of violating the truce and attacking Israeli troops. At least 2 people were killed when one strike hit a house in Gaza City. The agency said 3 strikes in total were launched, including one near Al-Shifa Hospital. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office confirmed he ordered what it called powerful strikes in response to what Israel says were attacks by Hamas on its soldiers inside Gaza. The latest escalation also comes as Netanyahu revealed that the remains returned by Hamas on Monday were actually body parts belonging to a victim recovered nearly 2 years ago. He called the move a clear violation of the ceasefire agreement and said he would convene military and defense chiefs for an emergency meeting to decide Israel's next steps. Israeli media report possible options include halting humanitarian aid, expanding Israeli control in Gaza, or striking Hamas leadership. 13 hostage bodies are still believed to be in Gaza, and the slow return of those remains is threatening to derail the fragile truce. Hamas has claimed difficulty locating the bodies due to widespread destruction, while Israel accuses the group of deliberately stalling. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, the international gold spot price fell on Tuesday as hopes grew for easing trade tensions between the United States and China. As of 1:45 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time Standard, the spot gold price fell to $3,964.35 per ounce, the lowest in nearly 3 weeks. December gold futures also slipped 0.9% to $3,983.10. Prices have dropped about 10% since their October 20th peak, signaling a correction. Experts say optimism ahead of the U.S.-China summit has reduced demand for safe haven assets like gold. And South Korean chipmaker SK hynix has posted record-breaking earnings for the third quarter, driven by surging demand for high-performance memory used in artificial intelligence servers. The company reported an operating profit of around 11.4 trillion Korean won, or more than $7.9 billion US, an increase of more than 60% from a year earlier. This marks the first time its quarterly profit has exceeded 10 trillion Korean won. SK hynix expects strong growth momentum to continue as global companies ramp up investment in AI infrastructure.
This is The World Now, bringing you the latest stories from around the globe. U.S. tech giant Amazon confirmed on Tuesday plans to cut 14,000 corporate jobs this year, a major restructuring designed to prepare the company for the AI era. The cuts, about 4% of Amazon's global corporate workforce, begins this week as part of a broader plan to make the company leaner and faster, according to a memo from Senior Vice President Beth Giladi. Giladi said the move will help Amazon operate like the world's biggest startup and respond quickly as artificial intelligence reshapes the tech industry. Amazon also says it will hire in key areas and prioritize affected staff for new roles. The company, which previously cut 27,000 positions in 2023, has warned that further job reductions may follow as automation replaces some human work. In Rio de Janeiro on Tuesday, at least 64 people were killed in the city's deadliest police operation ever, just days before it hosts major global climate events. Officials say the raid targeted a criminal gang network known as the Red Command. The death toll confirmed by Rio Governor Claudio Castro includes 4 police officers and is more than double the previous record for fatalities in a single police action. The raid came ahead of next week's C40 climate summit and Prince William's Earthshot Prize ceremony. Authorities have a history of mounting large-scale operations before major international gatherings, including the 2016 Olympics and the 2024 G20 summit. In Kenya, a small passenger plane crashed early Tuesday morning, killing 10 tourists and a local pilot. The aircraft was flying from the resort town of Diani to the Masai Mara game park when it crashed at 5:30 a.m. local time. Authorities say the victims were 8 Hungarians, 2 Germans, and the Kenyan pilot. Officials have launched an investigation into the crash, citing poor weather and low visibility as possible factors. The Kenya Civil Aviation Authority says recovery operations are underway, while the airline Mombasa Air Safari is providing support to victims' families. In Lagos, Nigeria on Tuesday, the United States revoked the visa of Wole Soyinka, the Nobel Prize-winning author and Africa's first Nobel laureate in literature. Soyinka, aged 91, revealed at a literary event that the U.S. consulate in Lagos asked him to surrender his passport so his visa could be physically canceled. He described the notice as a curious love letter and joked he was too busy to comply. The revocation ends his ability to travel to the United States for cultural and literary events, where he previously taught and lectured for decades. Soyinka said he had torn up his U.S. green card and renounced his American residency in protest over Donald Trump's first presidential election win. Chu Ji-hyun, Arirang News.
Yesterday marked the coldest day of the autumn season so far. The early cold brought the first frost and ice to Seoul earlier than last year. And that cold snap will retreat starting this afternoon, and the chill will gradually ease, meaning big gaps in temperatures across much of the country. Great weather is expected for the host city of the APEC summit, Gyeongju. After a freezing start to the day, Gyeongju will warm up nicely to 17 degrees Celsius this afternoon, ensuring ideal conditions throughout the conference period under fairly sunny skies. Taking a closer look at today's highs now, Seoul, Daegu, Gwangju will be seeing a high of 18 degrees Celsius this afternoon. Gyeongju will be topping out at 17 degrees under sunny skies nationwide. Temperatures are forecast to drop to below norms again on Sunday. Be sure to dress in layers to combat these huge temperature differences. Many are coming down with a cold.
That is all we have for today's noon edition of Arirang News. Thank you for watching. We'll be back at 5 p.m. Korea time. Stay tuned.
Lair the Peak.
Aluminum is a lightweight and durable metal which has been applied to various industrial sectors, including automobiles, ships, and aircrafts. J Aluminum has provided premium aluminum materials to different areas. Also, by developing high-quality aluminum cutting equipment, the firm has strengthened the competitive power in its field. We introduce J Aluminum, which has led the field of aluminum processing and cooperated with a lot of different industries. J Aluminum is located in Gangso-gu, Busan. Aside from aluminum, the company has mainly carried out the primary processing of non-ferrous metals.